The first thing I want to talk about, especially today, especially with this kind of crazy back to school time, even though this is present all the time, it's present a million times more right now with COVID back to school, is the mindset piece. And I'm just going to tell you guys, I have like written down a list for myself here of the emotions and thoughts that people have been sharing with me about this back to school stuff. And none of it's going to be a surprise to you because I'm sure you've seen people just venting and stuff like that on Facebook, all this stuff. Things like my this kind of back to school is going to be traumatizing for my kid, either because they're missing out on academics and they're going to be behind, or it's emotionally traumatizing because they're not getting their social and emotional interactions the way they should, or it's going to be psychologically traumatizing, having to wear a mask all the time and feeling like people can't understand you, or having to stay 6 feet apart all the time so people can't be near you. All of those thoughts, it's going to be traumatizing for my kids. I can't do this. This is mean or wrong to do to kids. It shouldn't be like this. And that is a big one. It shouldn't be this way. You guys are 100% right. It should not be this way. It is super messed up right now. It shouldn't be this way because it's not fair to kids, and it shouldn't be this way because it's not fair to put it on us to have to do all this stuff. All of those thoughts are totally understandable and valid and all that stuff, but unfortunately they're not serving you because if you followed me for any time at all, you know that I talk all the time about how our thoughts about our situations lead to emotions and feelings, and our emotions and feelings are what drive our actions and kind of set us off on the course for the results that we're going to be getting. Well, what emotions come from saying things to ourselves like this isn't unfair, this shouldn't be this way, I can't do this is traumatizing? Those thoughts create a ton of really negative emotions, not just negative like, oh, it's not happy or it's unpleasant, but negative in the sense that they're not going to be productive. They're not serving you. So if you read my blog post this week, I talked about like these thoughts are all could be totally accurate, and they're also imprisoning us because the reality is the reality. We've either chosen to keep our kids at home, we've chosen to send them to school, we've chosen to take them out of the school system and school them ourselves. Whatever choice we've made, that's the circumstance that we're in with the realities of the current world that we live in. And thinking all of this negative stuff about how it is not going to help us solve our problems, figure out a new creative solution, make this work, make it not suck, just keep us not miserable. It's only going to send us in this place of either giving up, doing things that are not going to be productive, and especially when it comes to behavior and helping our kids stay on track. I have so many clients right now, you guys, who their kids are not showing up for school the way that they need to, and instead of the parents being this catalyst to push them and help them rise up to what they need to be for school, they're just giving up because there's these thoughts of like, it's not fair, it shouldn't be this way, I totally understand why my kid is feeling this way. Great. And you're not going to help your child to rise up to what they need to be when you're basically making excuses for them. So I know that might sound like a tough love thing. I don't want you to feel like you can't have all these thoughts or deal with the emotions that come up from them, but to recognize that shifting them is going to be a huge game changer for you. Having a thought like, this is the reality and this is what our family's chosen to do right now, versus it shouldn't be like this and I hate this, you can see easily how that first thought is going to help you actually stand up for your child and take a stand for your child to get the things that they need and show up the way they need to show up, because it is true that our kids need to bear some of the responsibility for school, even in a time like this. Which brings me to that momming piece. It is very important right now with our kids to still be setting boundaries and enforcing those boundaries. And that means not in a punitive way. That means using natural consequences and staying super calm, which is another reason why that mindset piece is huge. Because if we're feeling completely defeated and angry and frustrated and, shaking our fists in rage at the world, real hard to stay calm while we're consequencing our kids. So I want you to really think about the marrying of that management and that momming piece together right now. The management piece is, this is the structure around school. If we're homeschooling or if we're remote schooling, this is the actual schedule that it is. This is what we're going to be doing. I'm actually going to enforce those boundaries, and this is how I expect you to show up for school, etc., etc., etc. That's that management piece. Enforcing those rules and boundaries is the momming piece, and that's where we use the non-punitive natural consequences to show up for our kids and actually show them that this is still important, even though it's not the way that we think it should be or whatever.